The sky was on fire. Bright red beams rained down from Thrax warships, burning buildings, trees, and everything in their path. Screams filled the air. The Valari city of Lurin, once full of peace and music, had turned into a nightmare. Smoke covered the sky. Mothers held their children and ran through broken streets, trying to escape the destruction. High above, the Thrax Dominion ships floated like shadows. They didn't speak. They didn't demand anything. They simply attacked. In the main tower, Elder Viral of the Valari stood before a large round table, surrounded by his council. His white robes were stained with dust and ash. His eyes were full of fear and sadness. "We have called the Council of Elders from 6 worlds," one counselor said. "But no one answers. They are afraid." "They are cowards," another shouted. "They fear the Thrax more than they value friendship." "No," Elder Viral said quietly. "They are not cowards. They are smart." Everyone in the room fell silent. Viral looked at the stars shown on the ceiling screen. "They know. The Thrax destroy everything they touch. Helping us would bring war to their own planets. They do not want to wake death." "Then what do we do?" a younger counselor asked. Voice shaking, Viral paused. His hands trembled. His voice was soft. "There is one more hope." The room turned cold. Everyone knew what he meant. "No," one of them said. "We do not call them. We cannot." "Earth," someone whispered. Elder Viral nodded. "Yes, the humans. But they are violent, dangerous. Their history is full of war," said another. "No one knows what they will do if they return to the stars." "They have not answered any signals for over 100 years, said another counselor. "We do not even know if they still live." "They live," Viral said, "and we must take the risk." Outside, another explosion shook the building. The lights flickered. A child screamed in the distance. Viral turned to his assistant. "Prepare the beacon. Set coordinates to Earth's last known position." The assistant hesitated. "Elder, once we send the signal, we cannot call it back." Viral's eyes burned with desperation. "Then we pray the monsters will become saviors." The assistant ran to the beacon room. Fingers shaking, he typed the code, locked the signal, and fired the message into space. It was a short message. To Earth. "We are the Valari. Our world is dying. We beg for help. Please. Come." As the message shot into the stars, Viral watched from the tower. He whispered, "Forgive me." Across the galaxy, near a quiet blue star, the signal reached a long-dead satellite in Earth's orbit. The satellite blinked once, then again, and sent the message downward. Deep underground, beneath mountains of steel and silence, an old bunker lit up for the first time in 97 years. Inside, a cold voice spoke. Foreign distress signal received. A room filled with dust and forgotten machines began to wake. Screens turned on. Weapons unlocked. A red warning light blinked above. A sealed chamber. Then a mechanical voice echoed through the silence. "AI Command Unit Reaper 01 is now active." The chamber opened. Inside stood a tall metal figure. It had no eyes, but a red light burned in its head like fire. "Mission. Assess distress call. Evaluate threat level. Deploy human response." The AI turned toward a wall full of old Earth. Flags and symbols. "Status. Humanity has been summoned." The camera zooms out as the red light grows brighter and the bunker doors begin to open. The black sky above Valari was quiet. Too quiet. The Thrax Dominion had pulled back their ships. For now, fires still burned across the cities and smoke hung heavy in the air. The Valari people waited, afraid to hope. They had sent the message, but had no answer. Elder Viral stood on the highest tower of the capital. His face was pale. Days had passed since the message to Earth was sent. Some said it was foolish. Some said it was suicide. But Viral still looked at the stars every night, waiting. "Maybe they never got it," a counselor said behind him. "Maybe they did," Viral answered. "And they're coming." Suddenly, a sharp alarm rang through the control tower. A glowing red dot appeared on the main screen. A ship had entered their orbit. But it wasn't Thrax. It was something else. "Unknown vessel. Approaching fast," the Valari officer said, panic in his voice. It's not sending any signal. The screen blinked again. A sleek, black craft appeared in the sky. It had no flags, no markings, no visible weapons. It moved like a shadow. The Valari watched it descend toward a ruined area near the old battlefield. The ground trembled as the ship landed. A circular ramp opened. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then, they walked out. Humans. 5 of them. Clad in dark armor, their faces hidden behind silver masks. Each one carried a strange weapon, smooth, silent, deadly-looking. In front walked a tall man. His armor was heavier, marked only with a red skull on the shoulder. His name was Commander Reyes. The Valari soldiers watching from the hills raised their scanners, unsure what to do. They didn't even speak. No greeting, no warning, one of them said. Reyes looked at the land, then pointed to a tall piece of ruined Valari architecture. Without speaking, he walked toward it and climbed to the top. He stood there, staring toward the Thrax territory, scanning the horizon. The other 4 humans moved quickly and quietly. One opened a drone case. 2 more took out strange tools and began marking spots on the ground. The 5th human stared at the sky, then tapped his helmet. Drones flew upward and vanished. Still, not a single word was spoken to the Valari. "Commander," Reyes finally spoke. His voice was calm and cold. "Primary scan complete. Enemy positions confirmed. Marking targets now." The Valari general nearby stepped forward carefully. "Commander, we are the Valari. You received our message. We thank you for coming, but—" Reyes turned his head slightly. His red visor stared through the general. "We're not here to talk." He raised his hand. Dozens of glowing red dots appeared on the battlefield far ahead. Laser marks, target locks. "We're here to end this." The Valari general stepped back. He whispered to his captain, "Did we call saviors? Or something worse?" The captain answered, "I don't know anymore." Above them, the black human ship powered up. More pods dropped from orbit. Machines, weapons, unknown tech. No speeches, no flags. Just silence and preparation. Back in the human ship, the AI voice echoed, "Engagement plan confirmed. Total force authorized. Begin. Operation Wrathstorm." As night fell, the ground under Valari shook again. Not from enemy fire, but from Earth's answer. The wrath of humanity had arrived, and it did not come to help. It came to finish what others were too afraid to touch. The Thrax Dominion prepared for their next strike. Their war machines stood in long rows across the ruined plains outside. Valari, towering mechs, flying beasts, and black-armored soldiers lined up under a red sky. They had crushed dozens of planets. Valari would be next. Inside the Thrax command ship, General Kuroth laughed. His claws tapped on the steel table as he watched a live feed of burning Valari cities. "These soft ones called for help," he said. "But none came. Their screams are music." A young Thrax officer spoke. "General, something has entered orbit. Small, not one of ours." Kuroth growled. "Valari do not have ships left." "No, sir, it's human." Kuroth stood up fast. "Humans? Impossible. They were broken. Gone." The officer shook his head. "Not gone. Just sleeping." The feed changed. Black dots dropped from the sky, metal pods slamming into the ground, with force. From them rose machines, walkers, and strange drones that looked like ghosts. And then, the storm began. A line of fire cut across the Thrax front line. It came from nowhere. Silent, clean, deadly. Their tanks exploded one by one. The air was filled with fire and smoke before the Thrax even fired a shot. From the hills, Reyes and his squad watched. He gave one small command. Phase 2. Burn them out. Drones flew high and rained down precision strikes. The ground shook with the force. Thrax soldiers screamed, confused and blind. They fired in every direction but couldn't see their enemy. The humans moved like shadows. Each step was planned. Each bullet was placed. A Thrax mech tried to rise, but it never even saw the human rocket before it tore it apart. Commander Reyes walked through the smoke, calm and quiet. His red visor reflected fire. His weapon was still cold. He hadn't needed to fire yet. The machines did most of the work. Behind him, Valari scouts followed, shocked. One whispered, "They don't fight like us. They fight like they were built for war." The human AI spoke through Reyes's earpiece. "Enemy resistance, weak. Threat level, manageable. Recommend full advance." Reyes nodded once. Approved. More human pods dropped. This time soldiers came out, hundreds of them, all in dark armor, all silent. No cheering, no battle cry, just orders and death. At Thrax's command, General Kuroth watched in horror. His army, his pride, was being taken apart like toys. He roared, "Send everything! Send the beasts! Burn the skies!" But it was too late. A human stealth ship flew low and dropped a bomb no one saw coming. It was silent. It didn't explode, like normal. Instead, it released a bright blue wave. The Thrax machines shut down. Their walkers froze. Their guns stopped working. Kuroth screamed, but his voice was lost in the chaos. Reyes stepped onto the battlefield, now quiet. Around him, human soldiers moved through smoke, checking every corner. They didn't celebrate. A Valari soldier looked at Reyes and asked, "How did you do this?" Reyes replied, "War is what we are." The Valari soldier asked, "Do you ever stop?" Reyes looked toward the horizon, where more Thrax ships waited. "No," and he gave the next command. Phase 3, take the sky. Above Valari, the stars were no longer peaceful. The sky had become a battlefield. The Thrax fleet, massive and proud, floated in high orbit. Hundreds of warships formed a dark wall in space. Spikes of steel, rows of cannons, hangars filled with death. They had destroyed so many worlds before. They were ready for anything. Except this. From the far side of the system, something moved. Not fast, not loud, just steady. Silent ships, black like shadows, appeared out of the void. No heat signature, no radio, no warning. They had been waiting, hidden. Now they rose like ghosts. The humans had come to take the sky. On the Thrax flagship, General Kuroth barked orders. "Focus all weapons on the incoming ships. Destroy them before they get close." But the human ships were not flying toward them directly. They were weaving, changing shape, splitting into smaller units. Like a swarm, like a storm. One Thrax captain shouted, "I can't lock on! They're jamming everything!" Inside one of the human ships, Commander Reyes stood on the bridge. His red visor glowed dim in the low light. "Target their engines. Cripple them. Make them drift." The AI responded, "Confirmed. Launching. Orbital sabers." Small pods shot from the sides of the human ships. They didn't explode. They stuck to enemy hulls like leeches. A moment later, those parts of the ships simply went dark. No fire. No sound. Just death and silence. The Thrax fleet panicked. Ships collided. Lasers fired wildly into space, hitting nothing. The humans didn't rush. They didn't shout. They advanced like hunters, one ship at a time. Reyes gave the next order. Phase 4. Bring in Helix. From behind the human fleet, a new ship entered the battlefield. It was bigger than the rest, long and flat, with a strange, spiraling core. Its name was Helix Nova, and it did not fire weapons. It bent space itself. The Thrax flagship felt the shift first. Their view of the stars began to twist. Space around them shimmered, bent, cracked. One officer screamed, "What is happening?" And then a black hole opened, small, but deadly. It didn't pull them in fully, just enough to rip apart one wing of the Thrax fleet. Ships vanished, torn to pieces. The rest tried to escape, but their engines failed. The sabers had already done their job. Reyes watched the battle end from the bridge. Message to Valari Command. Sky secured. Air superiority complete. Back on Valari, Elder Virel stood outside, staring up. At first, the stars had vanished during the fight. Now they returned. But something had changed. They no longer looked peaceful. They looked afraid. A Valari child beside him asked, "Are the humans angels?" Virel shook his head slowly. "No. They're the storm we prayed for. And storms do not care who stands in their way. Inside the Thrax flagship, General Kuroth crawled from the wreckage. His army was broken, his fleet was falling, but he still had one card left. He opened a hidden panel, pressed a black button, and whispered, "If we fall with fire." Back. On Earth, a human AI paused. New signal detected. Thrax superweapon activated. Commander Reyes narrowed his eyes. "Get me that location." Because this war wasn't over yet, and humanity was ready for the final blow. Far above Valari, deep in the wreckage of the Thrax fleet, a dark signal pulsed into space. It was old, ancient, a final command hidden in the Thrax war system for centuries, only used if their empire was truly falling. That time had come. The signal traveled to a dead moon on the edge of the system. Beneath its surface, something woke. A weapon. Not a bomb. Not a ship. A living machine, built by the Thrax long ago, powered by stars, designed to erase entire worlds. Its name was Droxen, the planet killer. As it powered up, the moon cracked open. A giant black shape rose, glowing with red, lines and humming like a dying sun. It turned toward Valari. Its first shot would burn the whole planet. Valari scientists screamed, "We cannot stop it! That thing eats energy like food!" The Valari people began to panic, but Earth had already seen it. Inside the human command ship, Commander Reyes stood still, staring at the data. Behind him, the AI spoke. "Threat analysis. 99% planetary destruction. Action required. Full deployment." Reyes didn't blink. "All right," he said calmly. "We end this." He turned to his officers. "Activate Last Dawn protocol." From the human fleet, a new ship emerged. Sleek, thin, pure white. It moved like light, faster than anything else in space. Its name, Valkyrie 1, only used once in history. It had no weapons, because it was the weapon. Inside it was a single human pilot, no armor, no backup, just pure control of the AI system called Wrathborn. The pilot's voice was steady. "Mission accepted. Let's take this monster apart." The ship dove into space toward the Droxen weapon. It dodged energy blasts, curved between gravity waves, and danced past death. Then it entered the mouth of the machine. Inside was fire, spinning metal, electric, storms, but the pilot kept going. "Now," he whispered. The Wrathborn AI activated its core and turned the human ship into pure data, fused with the weapon's brain. The Droxen weapon stopped moving, then started shaking. Its red lights turned blue, and then in the final moment, it exploded from the inside out. The shockwave rolled through space like a scream. Valari looked up and saw a second sun appear for 1 second. Then darkness. Then silence. Reyes watched from the command deck. "Target eliminated," the AI said. Reyes gave a slow nod. "Broadcast to the Thrax worlds. Let them know." He turned to the camera and said 5 words. "This is what Earth sends." Back on Valari, the people cried. But not in fear, in hope. They had been saved by the species they once feared. By the monsters of Earth. But Elder Varel said it best. They are not monsters. They are judgment. They do not come to help. They come to end wars, with fire. And far away, deep in the shadows of space, other empires watched and trembled. Because the humans had awakened. And now, the galaxy would never forget them.